All right. We are live.
We're live.
We are.
Okay.
Welcome to the after show, and we're going to do something a little different here. C-Bake's got a thing that he's going to screen share for us, and
I think it'll still work for the radio purposes.
Yeah,
describe what's going on.
Let's see.
Sounds good.
All right. So should I preface what all this is about here? So yeah, I have my YouTube channel, superhero.vg, and I do put stuff on there every so often, but it's hard to find the time to, make everything happen as much as I would like to. And this is something that I've been wanting to post for years. I originally wanted to put it up when Venom came out, then this Venom 2 I wanted to put it out. It's Venom focused, but it's also very much about video games. And it's like a 1995 skewed view of online gaming. So I have a little bit of a script here. I'm going to read from it, but I want you guys to jump in if you ever find something particularly funny or whatever. And there are a couple times where I'll just ask you to tell me what you're thinking, because I think you'll probably have the right answer. So there's the quiz aspect of your after show, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess just so I'm going to share my screen. I don't think I'm going to have every single image that I would originally like to have had, but it's fine. It's enough.
You put so much effort into your guest appearances on our show.
You really don't fit.
It's true.
Yeah. It's unusual. I mean, we appreciate it, but
yeah, I respect what you do.
Well, that seems
but
excessive.
It's not quite good enough, so I have to make it a little better.
There you go.
That's yeah.
All right. Now
that makes sense.
Now we're talking.
All right, guys. So shall we get started here? Hopefully my voice does not.
This comes out of my salary.
Yeah, I guess I will just go ahead and share my screen.
Do it.
All right. This one. So you guys are actually going to see the script and everything too. Feel free to read along, I guess. I don't know. But it's more important that you see the imagery. So yeah, I'll go ahead and start right now. In 1995, Marvel released a 4-part limited series called Venom: Carnage Unleashed. It's absolutely ridiculous and unapologetically 90s. But it also predicted 2, arguably 3 different aspects of modern gaming that didn't really exist back then, at least as far as I know. This is a story by Larry Hama, who's best known. Phil, do you know who Larry Hama is?
I absolutely do, yes.
Tell us who Larry Hama is.
Larry Hama wrote like all the G.I. Joe code cards and stuff. He came up with like all the probably the character names, I'm assuming, as well as like the whole mythos behind the
I know the lore and probably a lot of the characters too, I'd imagine.
The G.I. Joe, a real American hero.
Yes.
That you'll remember from the old Marvel comics and the old Sunbow cartoon.
Yeah.
But yes.
That's his claim to fame. And he wrote a lot of Wolverine and a lot of just, he's just a very dependable, well-known comic book writer. And this is not some of his finer work. I'll just say.
I'm seeing the next sentence here. I did not realize he wrote that video game.
Yes, he wrote X2 Wolverine's Revenge, starring Mark Hamill as Wolverine. Also a video on my channel if you want to check that out.
That was a good game, right?
It was pretty good.
It was a Wolverine game.
Yeah. It was like it had a lot of good ideas behind it, and it was it had a great story and everything. It is a little janky. I think.
What was the movie based one that wasn't
X-Men: The Official Game? Is that what you're thinking of?
No, wasn't there a Wolverine game that was kind of movie?
Oh yeah, that's one I worked on. X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah.
Okay, that was a good game.
That was a good game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be what I'm thinking of here.
Yeah, X2 Wolverine's Revenge has X2 in the title, but has nothing to do with the movie X2 at all, other than having Hugh Jackman on the cover.
Okay.
He wasn't involved with that game at all. Mark Hamill was not even mentioned on the cover. But let's see. Where was I in my script here? This is great, guys. Jump in, contribute. I appreciate that. That's why I'm here. before we talk about what this Venom series, did to predict the future of gaming, let's quickly recap what actually happens in the story, which completely revolves around what the world thought the internet was going to be for gaming in early 1995. Personally, I would still be several months away from going online at all, with a hyphen at the time, like you'll see in this story, on hyphen line. They even refer to playing games on the internet as playing games on the Ethernet,
Oh,
which may not be technically wrong, but it's kind of weird. So here's a short version of what happens in the story. Carnage is an inmate at Ravencroft Institute, which is basically Marvel's Arkham Asylum. And he finds out that this game publisher is creating an online multiplayer game called Carnage Unleashed. Of course, it's 1995, so video game violence is a huge issue. In fact, I'm pretty sure Larry Hama was writing this in during the 1994 congressional hearings that established the ESRB. So what do you think a publisher releasing Carnage Unleashed was called?
LJN.
They did release Maximum Carnage in the real world. That is correct. Keeping in mind the whole name, 90s extremeness of it all.
I'm sure
It's
there's a
company.
capital X somewhere then.
Oh, definitely.
Excessive Violence Video Game Company.
Yes.
Oh, man. How did they expect to sell any?
The words video game company are in the name of their video game company.
The company, yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is the Excessive Violence Video Game Company.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Not very subtle.
That's like THQ. But, THQ is Toy Headquarters, and this one's TEVVG.
Yeah, I don't think that worked out so well.
No? Okay.
They went with Excessive Violence. So anyway, Carnage is pissed when he finds out that this game is happening because he's not going to get any royalties. As you see in this picture, he says, hey, Phil, can you do a Carnage? Can you do a Cleus Cassidy?
Oh, let's see here. Do I have to sound like Woody Harrelson?
No, just, something.
Sound like the low sampled voice samples in Maximum Carnage on the Genesis.
It's my game. It's named after me. It's all about what I did.
That's a little extreme for his human form.
Too satanic.
I mean, it might work for the Carnage form.
It's my game. It's named after me. It's all about what I did.
I'm
you
Cletus
fell into the
Cassidy.
whole Southern guy thing because his name's Cletus. He's actually from the Bronx, but
hey, it's my game. It's named after me. It's all about what I did over here. Hey,
all right.
It's me. I'm Cletus Cassidy over here. Hey.
Rodney Dangerfield should have played him. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Excessive Violence Video Games has agreed to allow Carnage beta access and to play it as himself. Dr. Kafka is the administrator at Ravencroft, and I love her line here. Greg, can you read Dr. Kafka's line?
Perhaps we should curtail Cassidy's gaming privileges.
Indeed.
Meanwhile,
Venom learns about this game through this ad on the side of a building. And he's also pissed, mostly for it existing and glorifying Carnage to begin with. If you look at this ad, you can tell it's pretty much a reference to Maximum Carnage, which came out in September 1994, which again would have been very contemporary with when Larry Hama was writing this.
It's on the it looks like Super NES and Sega Genesis.
Yes, it's on the Sega Genesis.
Yes.
Which is a continuity error for later in the comic, as we'll see.
Also, I love that there's a Jimi Hendrix poster with All Along the Watchtower lyric on there.
Yeah, every issue is a reference to that song for reasons I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know. Yes.
Good song.
Indeed. Yeah.
It's to tie into the CD plus G Jimi Hendrix.
Mm-hmm. I believe it was actually originally Bob Dylan, and Hendrix took it from there and made it even bigger.
Actually, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But that is clearly Jimi Hendrix on the poster.
Yes, it is. So back to Carnage having access to the game. Again, he's super pissed at the developers for not giving him any money for his involvement. So, being Carnage, he decides he needs to kill them.
Of course.
And as luck
What,
would
not
have
just
it,
trademark infringement, not just a lawsuit?
Not for Carnage.
he's a public figure.
Yeah.
Wasn't this a
I think
She-Hulk episode?
technically. What's that?
Wasn't
This is
this a
what they base it
She-Hulk
on.
episode with
It should be. It could be.
stealing the names?
Yeah, like season 6 or something. As luck would have it, Carnage discovers a new symbiote power.
Here we go.
Phil, you want to read it in Carnage voice?
Oh, in Carnage voice. Let's see.
Cool.
Hey, how's about I extend
No,
Hey, Carnage,
he's
not
he's
Cletus,
form
Carnage.
now.
Oh,
This is where you get the grizzly
Oh, this is where
monster voice.
this is where Satan comes in?
It could be Satan, sure.
Okay.
How's about I extend my other in a molecular monofilament right through the RGB screen, through the processor and the modem, down the phone line, past the switching stations, up your trunk line into your modem and processor,
Right up the front line.
computers,
There's another line here.
out through your RGB screen.
All right, we could stop it there. So basically, the symbiote has the power to enter a computer
Yeah.
and go through the internet.
Through the screen.
Yes, through the screen,
Like physically through the screen.
the RGB screen. It's very specific.
Yeah.
And I love
Luckily-
how long that sentence was. Like,
Luckily,
Would
modern
anyone-
OLED screens are symbiote proof.
what was the
I mean, you know.
trunk? The line about the trunk?
The trunk line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up your trunk line into the modem and processor.
Wow.
I don't know what a trunk line is. It's
know.
probably something the guy heard about at Egghead when he walked in or something. Yeah, so ain't it great to be online, says Carnage with the hyphen in it. He kills one of the, I think it's a beta tester here, it might be a developer, but anyway,
No, in game development, it's
because he can
definitely a beta
travel
tester.
through the computer because comics. So a bunch of stuff happens in the course of the story with the corrupt CEO of Excessive Violence saying this will be great publicity for the game and crap like that. And my personal favorite, deciding on a whim to release the game widely at midnight that same day. I think we'll see that particular screenshot in a bit here.
They're going to shadow drop it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But maybe that's an innovation I didn't actually consider.
That
But
is
eventually
shadow dropping happens on a whim all the time. Like
Yeah, right. You don't
just
plan
the
for it.
industry.
You just decide it's like 6 o'clock at night. And, let's release this at midnight. Why
That's
not?
right.
This predicted the Saturn.
Yeah.
You're not
But
wrong.
eventually, Venom gets involved. He discovers that he too can enter cyberspace with his symbiote, and the climax happens when Venom and Carnage are slugging it out, and Venom and Carnage are slugging it out in game on the big screen in Times Square for everyone to watch.
Nice.
So, some of my favorite '90s dialogue during their fight, Phil.
Oh, let's see. Oh my.
Stupid is as stupid does, Venom. I can stomp your real butt and your cyber butt.
That's right. Forrest Gump had just come out.
And Cletus had gone to see it.
Yes, he did.
One ticket to
Oh,
Forrest
there's
Gump,
one I forgot to
please.
put here, but there's like Cletus says something to the effect of, "Yeah, I think you might beat me here." Not.
Oh.
So Wayne's World is
Uh,
clearly on
Yes.
his mind.
And that's a little out at this point anyway. It's like 3 years since Wayne's World at this point. I can't really say I understand what Venom does to get them out of there. Something about destroying the heat sink in the Times Square monitor. But it forces Carnage back into the real world at the computer that he entered from. And then his therapist sets him on fire.
What?
What?
And he falls out of a skyscraper. And he's taken into custody again.
He needs
Comments.
he needs a new therapist.
I guess you
Yeah.
have to wrap it up in just a few panels. Then that'll do it.
Yeah, this was a 4-issue series. Other stuff happens. It's not worth getting into. Okay, so I haven't mentioned the stuff about modern gaming yet. and it all comes from our friends at Excessive Violence Video Games. So yeah, one of the developers says, "Clock this! I've got 20 beta testers online controlling super geeks, and I'm wiping the RGB monitor with it." Because everybody talked like that back then.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah. Then you see Carnage fighting Spider-Man, Carnage fighting Venom.
Scroll back up real quick.
What?
Scroll back up, please.
Yes.
Wrap up the beta testing, Sherm. This baby goes on the net tonight at midnight.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, so they're hours from release and they're still beta testing.
Yep,
that's the
how
whole
it works.
point of on a whim. He said it was on a whim.
Yeah. I mean, there's on a whim, and then there's on
There's
a whim.
a lot of confidence at Excessive
Carnage,
Violence video games.
Carnage ripping up Captain America on there too.
Yeah. He's fighting Captain America. He's fighting Spider-Man here. He's fighting Venom. So first, the game concept. It's an online multiplayer game where one player is Carnage and 20 other players are superheroes trying to take him down.
This is a CJ
We
game.
actually get screenshots of Carnage fighting Venom, Captain America, and Spider-Man. What does this sound like?
CJ.
Asymmetrical gameplay.
Yes.
I don't think that existed back then, did it?
Not in video game form.
I don't think so.
Certainly not as a term, no.
So, well, I mean, were there any games that played like that, where you were one guy against a whole bunch of other dudes trying to get you, or vice versa?
I can't think of any. No.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Larry Hama invented asymmetrical.
That's a pretty great concept. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have this amazing conversation that combines extreme 90s dialogue with an inaccurate picture of the later days of the 16-bit console era. CJ, why don't you take the first guy, and then actually no, it's all him. So just go to the steroids line.
Okay. The Game Boy version was pretty cool. The 16-bit Super NES and Genesis versions were even cooler, and the 32-bit arcade version was killer to the max.
Mm-hmm.
But this interactive version is going to sweep away the competition like a Terminator on steroids.
Yes, because apparently the Game Boy, SNES, Genesis, and arcade versions were not interactive.
I like how they have TM after each of those.
Yeah, exactly. And remember earlier, it was the Siva Genesis or something.
Yeah.
I guess that's it doesn't really matter anymore. But it also like advertised those games as coming out soon for that system. But apparently they already came out, and this is a port. Just the way he's talking here, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
He's a CEO.
So also check out the fast food joint. It's Woody's. This also predicted who would play Carnage in the movies 25 years later. But there's the real prediction, and it's arguably two predictions in one.
Okay.
Greg, why don't you read this line?
We get the players hooked for free and then charge them the limit for the modules and codes to access the higher levels of play.
There it
And
is.
this, of course, is
level 70 or bust. Free to play and microtransactions.
Yeah. We had shareware and stuff like that back then, but it was not really the same thing as free to play, which it sounds to me is what he's proposing here.
Charging the limit.
Can you guys think of anything
that was 1,200 Carnage bucks?
That's right.
Carnage.
We should really have Ethan here, huh?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we had shareware, but that's kind of a different concept of what the guys at Excessive Violence are describing here. It's really too bad Carnage killed these guys. Who knows how much more innovation they could be bringing to the table these days.
Man, Electronic Arts could have learned from these guys.
Yeah.
Huh.
And scene. So yeah, that's just that thing I've been wanting to talk about on my channel forever, and I never got around to it. So
that is insane.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cool, I think.
That's pretty legitimate. Kind of, forward.
Yeah.
Looking.
Yet so off the mark. It's like.
That's true. What they should have said is something about the cloud version of the game that will rule all.
I mean, they were still
No.
Till we shut off the
hyphenating
servers.
online. I don't think they were ready to start
Right.
speculating about clouds.
Well,
Right.
I think the reason they were talking about the online version, they didn't want the Sega channel to,
Mhm.
take over.
Let's see if I can find any other random images I did not put in here.
That's
Oh yeah, so he signed over the rights. Actually, it wasn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
So that's the therapist, because that's what therapists look like.
well, yeah.
like
of course.
like she's going to work out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And he has. There's this whole convoluted thing about how he can actually do the like they were ready for it. They were prepared to.
I just
to
changed the
stop him,
rules.
but he
Sherm the
figured
germ.
it out. Yeah, he got the first thing he did was get the developer to give him access to the asylum's doors, so he actually, like, his physical body was able to leave too.
Oh, this is like Tron completely. It's a Tron ripoff.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, there's the mug for excessive violence.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That.
man.
I
Disney
want
needs to be
excessive
selling those.
violence in like the world in Spider-Man that Insomniac does. Like,
Oh,
there could
that
be
would
the
be good.
excessive violence
I
building.
mean, we have an in. We should
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should tell Brian about this.
we should call Brian.
Yeah,
That is
I think
amazing.
that's pretty much all you need to know about this story. Oh, there's the knot. You put me down for the count with that one. Not.
Wow.
That was a sick burn, Carnage.
This could be level 3. Carnage and Venom trade quips and punches in the terror on the tracks.
Are you in your non sequitur mode today?
Oh, I love that Venom voice.
Ah,
Yes.
Oh yes, of course. Yes, same actor, right? Just got
Oh, I
that.
don't know what you're talking about.
I forgot about that. That is
Oh,
wild.
Anyway,
my goodness.
amazing.
That was actually emulated. This particular cover was emulated in the first movie. The Riot symbiote does that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I need to see that. Let There Be Carnage. I've not seen it yet.
Yeah, I have not
It's
either.
exactly what you think it's going to be. It's terrible, but also awesome.
Mainly the reason I haven't seen
Kind
it
of like
yet.
this comic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly.
There's a reference to
believe it.
Plan 9 from Outer Space at some point. Did I pass it? These are all the beta testers, because they have these beta testers like on this the Zoom call. Basically,
Oh, giant
there's
Zoom
another
call.
thing. There's
Yeah.
a Zoom call.
Interesting.
Absolutely. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is just like could have come out today, right?
definitely.
Yeah, he just goes right. He just sends his little symbiotic
Yeah.
ooze like right
Sends it
into
through
the
the
screen.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, there's the Plan 9 from Outer Space reference. Yeah, the beta testers see Carnage killing people, and they say it's cheesy special effects.
Oh, of course.
That was down there with Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yuck, yuck.
Only kids in the 90s would get
What's
that.
on the wall?
reference.
Pizza sauce? Computer geeks really make my teeth hurt. Well, okay.
What?
So Carnage is excited about everyone being online because he can then kill everyone
Hmm.
through the internet.
Yeah, you can kill him.
Perfect. Why haven't they brought that back?
See,
Why
that's
hasn't-
what he got wrong, because
Yeah.
the internet would never be used for evil like that.
Never.
Right.
No.
Yeah, they seem to have completely abandoned this power in the comics.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Pretty amazing.
Oh,
Well, thank
we
you,
go.
Seabake, for
Things you can't do on the regular show.
Yeah, well, that's exactly as advertised. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much for this.
Come on in and play, oh my prodigal. The Ethernet is fine.
the Ethernet is fine.
Shouldn't it be the bandwidth is fine?
No, it's the Ethernet. It's like a swimming
Did we know that term in
pool.
1995? There wasn't even. I don't know. It was all
I
modem
think
stuff.
so.
All
I
right.
think so. Yeah, that was what rich
Yeah.
people
What was
used.
the baud of your modem?
My
So-
first baud modem was 9.6. Not
Uh-huh.
I've
fast.
increased the baud to 1 million. I can log on to the internet simultaneously.
We're going to fight on the Ethernet.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh. That's just super cheeseball.
There you go.
Well, thank you, Seabake, and thank you, Patreon supporters, for backing our show. And hopefully you enjoyed this little detour. And hey, if you have an idea for a game we can play during the after show, well, first you have to be a guest on the show and then pitch it to me via Twitter
you don't.
DM. No. It's real easy to do. You just email it to player1podcast@gmail.com and maybe we'll play your game on the after show. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Or
Anyway.
find a comic that predicts the future.
I don't think there's any other comic that predicts the future as well as this one clearly has.
That's true.
Indeed.
Wow. Yeah. If I'd only known back then asymmetrical games were going to be a thing, would have been completely different.
And someday you got to think that there will be like actual fights in computers that we can watch in Times Square.
Probably so. Yes.
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway, I hope all you listeners out there are safe and well. Hope your family, friends, loved ones are all safe and well. And we will talk at you again next week.
Bye-bye.
Stupid
Bye-bye.
as stupid does.
Not.
Bye.